Tonight, nailed by storms. A powerful derecho brings hail and winds of up to 70 miles an hour. Trees down everywhere.
And you just hear like a lot of crack, crack, boom, and bam, there it is.
Tonight, from the ground to the air, our team of reporters is looking out for you. We're tracking extensive damage tonight. Live at Sedgefield Middle School, this is one of dozens of trees that fell all over our area, making a mess of roads, crushing homes, even cars.
Right now, Duke Energy is dealing with 109,000 outages, more than 9,000 of them in Mecklenburg County. Union Power is reporting 11,000. Energy United, 12,000 outages.
This video captures the strength and force of the storm. NBC Charlotte reporter Bora Kim and photojournalist Mike Hansen were right outside the QT near Concord Mills as that rain came pounding down and those winds just howled.
And after it passed, they found a lot of damage in the nearby neighborhoods. Bora Kim begins our team coverage tonight.
This is one of the hardest hit areas in Concord, just south of the city along Union Street, where you can see a lot of damage here. Crews, in fact, worked very hard to secure this area before nightfall. And as you take a look, this homeowner had lost one tree on Monday, only to lose a second one today.
Kind of like a tornado.
Down trees, branches, and power lines. For Mike Udy, this is the second time in a week he's cleaning up.
Time to move. But now all the trees are gone, so I'm good. Don't have to clean the gutters.
Mother Nature packed quite a punch. 9,000 customers lost power citywide. That's just about the time Shirley Carr heard a massive tree come crashing into her apartment.
I just had lit a candle because the power had went out. As I sit there, within 5 minutes, the whole tree just fell down. I ran out the back door.
The Weaver family was forced to suspend their trip today to the Outer Bay. Half a dozen trees fell on top of their home like dominoes.
The winds were horrendous, and it was blowing everything sideways. And winds came down through from up on the street and just knocked all the trees over on the houses.
Despite the mess, he's looking on the bright side.
We're all okay, and we can fix everything.
The American Red Cross has found shelter for at least 18 homeowners displaced by the storm, but thankfully, even with all of this damage, no injuries to report. In Concord, Bora Kim, NBC Charlotte.
Now, the only injury we've heard of tonight is one person in Stanley County trying to move a tree. A lot of trees were down, especially in Albemarle, and I went up an Air Star tonight after the worst part of the storms passed to give you a bird's eye view of the extensive damage. As we approached Albemarle, it was easy to see this community got hammered.
Yeah, we're circling around the area of Stanley Regional Hospital, and the neighborhoods around this area, you just look left and right, and there are trees down everywhere. We're counting at least 12 that we can count from up here.
With straight-line winds reaching 60 miles an hour or more, the storm's path tore through North 6th Street and East.
Where we can see some very heavy damage in this particular neighborhood. Downed power lines, not to mention trees, at least 10 to 12 from what we can count at this vantage point.
Other neighborhoods were spared.
It's amazing because the street right next to it, you know, you don't see any damage at all.
Cars came to a standstill, blocked by debris.
Wow, would you take a look at this? This is the area of North 2nd and Montgomery Streets here. What appears to be the cable holding up those traffic lights have just collapsed, and the result, you can see those traffic lights just in pieces in the middle of the road, also a broken telephone pole.
Despite some pictures,
yeah, this particular street, extremely hard hit. You can see there the trees uprooted. You can barely see the house itself.
Like these from just a few hundred yards away.
If we can zoom in there, you can see that huge tree just on top of that car, that silver car, completely buried by the leaves and branches.
Miraculously, no major injuries. Just a community left to pick up the pieces in this calm after the storm. Now, keep in mind, multiple streets there are closed tonight, and emergency management urges everyone to stay indoors. A shelter has been set up at Albemarle High School for anyone that's been displaced. That is at 311 Park Ridge Road.
NBC Charlotte reporter Diane Gallagher continues our coverage tonight live at Charlotte Douglas Airport. Diane, the storm is still causing delays, I understand.
Well, you know, Dave, this is actually one of the busiest times I've ever seen Charlotte Douglas this late at night, and that's because a lot of those flights that were delayed because of the storm earlier are just now starting to come in. At one point today, you can actually see the lines of people and the cars coming. At one point today, Charlotte Douglas was shut down completely for about an hour to all arriving flights because of cloud-to-ground lightning. But you didn't have to be boarding a plane to know and have the impact of this storm in Charlotte. The storm just as loud as it was strong.
Actually, it was just like winds at first. Then it went from winds to the hail and rain. And you just hear like a lot of crack, crack, boom, and bop, there it is.
That wind.
It scared me. I was just shaking.
The Sunfest tents at St. John Newman's Catholic Church may have survived, but tree after tree,
This boom
after tree did not. One crashed through Sedgefield Middle School in South End.
We were babysitting the grandbabies, and the neighbor called and said, "You got a tree down."
Dozens uprooted, like this one off Cookendale, which took out power lines and a fence, but spared this couple's home.
Lucky, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
God's grace. Just looking out there. And it's okay. Like I said, it's all fixable things.
Across town, Vaughn Connor's home didn't fare as well.
The tree limb right here fell on top of the trailer, tore the whole porch off.
The Derecho moved through Charlotte during rush hour, causing traffic nightmares, knocking out power.
Real cracking noise. It was a scary kind of noise, and it heard like a boom.
And knocking down trees across many major roads, blocking neighborhood entrances, preventing people from getting home. And obviously there's going to be a lot of cleanup for people here in Charlotte at their homes. If your home happens to be in the New York or New Jersey area and you are flying out there this evening, you may want to check with your airline as well. There are many delays in departures and arrivals there at this moment, some of them up to 2 or 3 hours. So check with your airline. For now, reporting live from Charlotte Douglas International Airport, Diane Gallagher, back to you.
All right, Diane. In Caldwell County, a family lost their home and sadly some pets to that storm. Firefighters say lightning struck the house on Hensley Green Lane in Granite Falls. Carla Hensley and her 3 children got out safely, but some of their pets were killed. The American Red Cross is helping them tonight. Well, to Statesville now, different town, same story.
Fallen trees will certainly keep neighbors busy and in the dark for a while. NBC Charlotte reporter Michelle Bowden was there.
This really is the kind of thing that we are seeing all through downtown Statesville. We are talking major trees taken out by this storm. Also power lines. You can see right here, they are dangling across the road. In our travels, though, in the last hour or so all across Statesville, we're seeing giant power lines completely blocking major roads through downtown Statesville. We're also seeing these giant trees, but what's so incredible, even here in this location, the tree narrowly missed actually landing on the house, and that's pretty much the story we're hearing all across Statesville.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I was coming from the western part of town and the wind hit. I could see the cell, and I would say the winds were 60, 70 miles an hour. And I said, gosh, I might be in a tornado. And I drive a Suburban, and my Suburban actually lifted up on 2 wheels. I slowed way down, and I saw a large tree fall across the interstate and hit a car. And so I knew just need to slow down and get back home.
We've been talking to folks all through Statesville as we've been driving around seeing the damage, and they're all kind of saying the same thing. They were here for Hurricane Hugo. They remember that damage, and they say this is the worst thing they've seen since that terrible hurricane. Giant trees down throughout Statesville, lots of power. We understand one entire side of Statesville without power. Reporting now from Statesville, Michelle Bowden, NBC Charlotte.
Now, the storm brought a lot of hail, too, so check it out. Yeah, you can certainly hear it. Pea-sized hail hit Indian Trail right about 6:30 this evening. Viewer Kelly Fitzsimmons sent us this video of it falling on her backyard furniture. This is, by the way, north of Highway 74. Now, it was banging down on the hood of photojournalist Ken Shermer's live truck. This was on Remount Road and South Boulevard just south of Uptown this evening. Meantime, quarter-sized hail rained down on Thompson Road in Mint Hill. It doesn't sound like any of the hail, though, did any major damage.
Viewers sent us dozens of pictures and videos. We posted a slideshow on Wcnc.com. You'll also find raw video of the damage and a timeline of the storm and pictures taken from Twitter. What a difference a few hours can make around here. All's quiet on the radar right now, but major changes are coming our way tomorrow. Meteorologist John Wendell is tracking it all using Futurecast in just a few minutes. Some breaking news right now out of Miami tonight. You're looking live as fire and rescue try to pull people from the water. A deck collapse at a restaurant called Shuckers there. That's on Biscayne Bay. No word on how many people fell in there. We're going to bring you more information as we get it.
New tonight, a suspected peeper caught at the Wcnc. York County Sheriff's deputies say John Eddy set up a camera in the women's locker room at the Lake Wiley branch. There are files on that camera dating back to last month. Eddy, by the way, works at the Y cleaning overnight. Investigators plan to file more charges.
A 20-year-old man is facing life behind bars tonight. It took the jury just an hour to convict Chauncey Sterling of killing a hospital executive in South Park. NBC Charlotte reporter Glenn Counts was in court for that emotional verdict.
For the past 2 days, Chauncey Sterling put his future in his own hands. But in the end, it wasn't his intentions that mattered, it was his actions. And for that, he was convicted of first-degree murder for gunning down Robert Barber. Sterling sobbed. His sister had to be escorted from the courtroom. Overcome with emotion, she told Barber's family, "I'm so sorry," as she left. Afterwards, Barber's stepson spoke to the media.
The family would just like to say that there was no winners today. Everybody lost something, but we think justice was served.
Barber's wife, Deborah, and sister spoke before sentencing and asked for justice and talked to Sterling almost like a wayward son, telling him that he had ruined 4 families, theirs and his. Barber was killed in April of 2011. The well-known hospital executive was walking home from Caribou Coffee when Sterling decided to rob him. Earlier today, prosecutors got Sterling to show how he approached Barber from behind and how the 64-year-old grabbed the gun, nearly getting control of it.
Turn to his left. Is this about the distance?
When he turned around.
He turns around. Did he grab it with his left or his right hand?
Grabbed it almost like with both hands.
Sterling jerked away and fired 2 shots. On the stand, he appeared clean-cut, but prosecutors showed pictures from his Facebook page of him flashing gang signs and dressed like a gang banger. The prosecution's case was strong, but the judge gave them a reason to worry. Prosecutors sweated the fact that the judge considered giving lesser offenses, but once she rebuffed the defense motion, this jury came back in about an hour. At the Mecklenburg County Courthouse, Glenn Counts, NBC Charlotte.
Looking out for you tonight, a popular Charlotte restaurant fenced in. The parking lot's fight that's blocking diners out. Plus, who's spraying satanic graffiti all over this local church? New details tonight about a popular Charlotte bar that's vowing to stay open while facing a major obstacle. An 8-foot fence now surrounds the Thirsty Beaver in Plaza Midwood. The bar owners rent the parking lot, and the owner of the lot put up the fence. The fire department confirmed it's not a fire hazard, but it does make it tough for customers to get to the bar.
And I think he's trying to force us out of business to buy this building because it's the only piece of property he doesn't own.
We tried to reach the property owner, but he didn't return our calls. The bar owners say other neighborhood businesses have offered to let their customers use their lots.
We have learned that bones found in the Chantilly neighborhood are human. Investigators say they belong to Jeffrey, here anonymous. His remains were found last night off Bay Street. That's right behind Chantilly Montessori School. Someone spotted them off a busy walking trail there. He was reported missing back in 2009. His death has been ruled a suicide.
Leaders of a Gastonia church want to know who targeted their church by spray painting words against God. Pastor Olin Byram of Covenant Baptist Church says he found the graffiti on the back of the building on Tuesday. All week, children have been at the church for Vacation Bible School. The pastor says he's shielding the kids from the vandalism until he has the chance to clean it up.
I just can't understand why you do something like that. Of course, there's no hate. God loves them. We love them. Hopefully they'll repent, see the error of their way.
Pastor Byram says they'll have to sandblast that wall to remove the spray paint.
We want to update that breaking news out of Miami right now. You're looking live. The Miami-Dade Fire Department now says they're treating 24 people. 3 of them are in critical condition. A deck collapsed into the water at a restaurant called Shuckers. That's on Biscayne Bay in Miami. We'll bring you more information as soon as we get it here. And our coverage of the severe weather continues right now. A lot of you sent us this image. That is a shelf cloud right here over Concord taken by Dana Monson. It moved all the way to Albemarle. Photojournalist Mike Hansen shot this time lapse over Concord right here. It looks pretty ominous when you check this thing out as that cloud makes its way over town. Wow.
Yeah, speaking of where the clouds are moving, I know our team of meteorologists have been tracking the storms and where they're going to be. Meteorologist John Wendell in for Brad tonight. And what do you see on the Futurecast?
Well, it looks like all the storms have passed through the area, and that's good news. You know, a lot of pictures have been coming in because we went from beautifully clear skies to all of a sudden you had those gray clouds coming through. Well, that's now passed off to the east and drier air is moving in. Here's your first warned Doppler radar, and you can see still some thunderstorms in the eastern part of the state, down through South Carolina, then down into Georgia. But around our area, things are starting to dry up. Here's a closer look at those thunderstorms, folks, toward the Jacksonville area. Wilmington's about to hit next, and then down toward Myrtle Beach. The thing is you look at this line of thunderstorms as it moves on through, and you can see that they're starting to break up. Not one solid line like as they moved across our area, and they continue to move down to the southeast. Looking back out to the west, you could still see a few widely scattered showers there, but that's it for the rest of the night. And by tomorrow morning, you'll wake up to some sunshine. As a matter of fact, we'll see plenty of sunshine for tomorrow. Rainfall with this system, it wasn't that big. As a matter of fact, we're looking at maybe a 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch, in some spots about an inch of rain right around Mecklenburg County. But this little area from Matthews over toward Marshville, right along 74, that's an area that picked up 1 to as much as 2 inches of rain. But for most folks, it was a lot less than that. Just because this storm, yes, it did produce a lot of rain in a very short period of time. It just didn't last very long. 71 degrees is our current temperature. Thing is it's very humid out there. The dew point still very high, but drier air is moving in. That dew point tomorrow is going to be down into the 50s. So the thing you'll notice tomorrow, less humidity across the area along with that sunshine. So when you get up tomorrow morning, about 64 degrees, there could be some fog in the area in the morning. By afternoon, you're looking at temperatures in the 80s, but less humidity across the region. Here's a look at the front, and you can see it's pushing down to the south, and drier air starts to move in. So tomorrow morning, you get up, head on out to work. It looks like dry conditions across the area. High pressure moves in for the day tomorrow, and that should bring us dry weather for tomorrow afternoon. As a matter of fact, this high pressure system should affect our weather through the weekend. So for tonight, 50s up in the mountains, look for 60s through the foothills, and still a 20% risk for a shower up there. But for tomorrow, look for 70s up high, low 80s across the foothills. Here in Charlotte, overnight low temperature about 64 degrees. It'll slowly drop as we go through the night. And once again, we could still see some fog around the region. But tomorrow, back to sunshine. Look for temperatures to be into the mid 80s, but less humidity across the region. For the folks who live east of us, look for some clouds, temperatures in the 60s. Highs tomorrow, though, should be back up into the mid 80s. And over the next 7 days, you're looking at a pretty nice weekend. I think a little lower humidity should make it nice for everybody. A lot of sunshine for Father's Day. And as we get into the first part of next week, though, it could get stormy once again, but temperatures in the 80s, no 90s. You know, one thing that got me with this line of thunderstorms is it was so hot and so clear. And then all of a sudden you could see that line coming towards you.
Not to mention we could see the steam coming from the pavement afterward because it was so hot.
So hot.
Yeah, John, thanks.
All right, well, this is a big storm system. It stretched all the way to Philadelphia up the northeast, affected Gulf as well.
3.5 hours held them up as well. And, you know, talk about storms and afraid of heights here. I fully will admit, I'm afraid of heights. For you to go up in the helicopter, kudos. You talk about complete journalists there. Hey.
I have to admit it was a little scary, but you know what? Once you get up there, it's very serene and very calm. It's a great view.
Not happening in the sports world. Sorry, we're not doing that. We are talking some golf, though. U.S. Open, a little NASCAR news from Joey Logano. Fishing with Tony Stewart and the Panthers. New deep threat. Next, sports. Ask Ron Rivera about new Panthers wide receiver Ted Ginn Jr., and he will tell you the speed is obvious. Ginn and the Panthers wrapping up minicamp this afternoon over at Bank of America Stadium. A former 9th overall pick in the 2007 NFL Draft, Ginn signed a 1-year deal with the Panthers in late March and is a big believer in the turn and burn philosophy.
Just try to do what I could do. Just try to control what I could control. You know, I come out and I just run. You know, and that's some of the attributes that I have is speed. You know, so I just go out and just try to showcase it every time I can. Being here with a guy like Cam and the arm that he have, you know, it should be a great deal.
And let's just face it, some guys are just good. Phil Mickelson, he's one of those guys. He skipped the practice round for the U.S. Open to see his daughter graduate from 8th grade. Flew in this morning for his first round, and it paid off. Now, he had to wait 3.5 hours in the middle of his game as bad weather held things up. But when the sun came back out, so did the golfers and the critters. Insert your Caddyshack jokes here, everyone. Mickelson on 13. standing over a putt for birdie, scopes it up and burns it. Phil, even par at this time. Then a long shot for birdie here, and this is just a pro. Let's go ahead and be quiet and watch this thing bend in here. Right into the jar. We wouldn't show it if it didn't. Finishes at 3 under. Phil, man, we thought you needed practice to shoot that low.
Heading into today's round was to get my game sharp, to get my touch, to get my ball striking, to have that sharp. I didn't need any course prep. I knew how it was going to play with all 4 different winds. I knew what clubs I was going to hit off each tee. All that stuff was already decided.
Luke Donald leads the way at 4 under par. Just over halfway through the schedule until the chase for the Sprint Cup begins, and now is usually the time when teams kind of take a step back and look at that plan, reassess if they need to. And for Joey Logano on the number 22 team, the plan and the racing has been solid. Penalties have them sitting at 16th in the standing, and, well, they're on the outs if the chase began today. But it doesn't begin today, and Joey tells us now's not the time to panic.
We've had a lot of adversity already to put us back in 16th points. We're very close. I think we're 26 points from 10th, I think, right now. So we can do that. We can get there, being halfway to where the chase is. So we're not in panic mode. We need to be consistent.
You can find a lot of things in Lake Lloyd and Daytona. Old race cars, a few beer cans, and yes, bass. Tony Stewart was down there tooling around, did some bass fishing, and yes, he actually did catch one. For those that think we doctored this video to make it look like Stewart is a master angler, going to hear from the man himself. Tony, tell him.
Oh, I caught him. I just didn't catch him in front of you guys. So, no, I mean, as hot as it is down here, to catch fish at this time of day anyway is pretty good.
Not sure that's for real, though, but whatever. We'll let him go with it. Sorry. And security, tighter than ever at Clemson University tonight. Howard's Rock, the iconic fixture Clemson football players rubbed down prior to running down the hill at Memorial Stadium. It's been vandalized. You see here the plexiglass cover is missing, and a large piece of the rock is also gone. Officials were able to get a partial fingerprint off the pedestal and the plexiglass case. They are actively investigating. Take the rock seriously down there at Clemson. That's it for sports. Back with more news right after this.
All right, the sun after the storm.
That's right, less humidity tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, big plus. All right, thanks.
Hope to see you back here bright and early at 4:30 in the morning.